Up. Get up there, go, up. Sit. If you're training your dog to do hold, drop, and retrieve, one of the biggest stumbling blocks you're going to run into is getting the dog to walk with the object and not drop it. Now, she'll go 10 feet, she'll run 10 feet, so, you know, she has it in her mouth, but then she drops it. Or even if I have her coming towards me, she drops it. All of them do this. You can work your dog past this. Just take your time. You string stuff together. And doing hold, drop, and retrieve, the retrieve, to do it proper, it's a series of things that the dog needs to learn. It's a series of steps. So with her and just about every other dog I do this with, which is I'll have the dog off at a distance and I'll coax the dog to me, and I don't want the dog to drop it. I've already done a session doing this with her, and I don't want her to drop it. So even if I get 1 or 2 steps and then put the dog in a sit. So you're teaching the dog to hold it, walk, and then sit. It's not about walk and then drop it whenever you want. Remember, all the commands are an implied stay, right? So holding the object, it's implied that the dog holds it until you give it another command. So we want her to hold it and not drop it. So if you're, and I know if you're trying this, you are having this issue, because they all do this. Just take your time and you'll work the dog through it. Now, seriously, if you get 1, 2, and then put the dog in a sit and get it out of the dog's mouth, that's success. Then you can get 3 steps, 4 steps. Do you understand what I'm saying? And if you see the dog is sort of like, got this hesitation, they lose all the hesitation as soon as it's like the coolest thing they've ever done. So let's do this a little bit with Luna, and you'll have a better idea of like what and how to do this. Luna. By the way, I'm on this because she's small. Large dogs, I'll do the same thing, but I'll be on the ground. Dog's ridiculous. She reminds me of Snuggles, the fabric softener bear. All right, Snuggles. Here, sit up. There you go, sit. Okay, hold. No, hold. 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 Sit. This dog learns real quick. Hold. Hold. Here, hold, hold, sit, drop, sit, that's good, sit. The session before, she was dropping it. This dog learns really fast. It's like, if you have a dog like this, don't go too fast, because when you go too fast, they screw up. So the session before, I was out here for a while trying to get her to do this. And I didn't really quit until we got a success a couple times. And I indicated that that is the correct thing to do. And then I bring her out to make this video, and now she's doing exactly what I want. She's fucking great. It might not seem a lot to you, but as a dog trainer, I see like this huge potential in this dog. This owner did a real good thing getting this dog. She went for the dog probably because it's cute, and I do think that she knows a couple of them, and I believe she said her mother or mother-in-law has Westies, so she's into the white dog, the cute white dog. But this dog is like, listen, I'm just saying, if I was gonna get a dog, I wouldn't want a dog like this. A dog that really wants to play the game with the human. Sit. By the way, this is not hers. None of the items that are used for retrieving do you ever allow the dog to chew on. They're not put in the dog's crate. The dog does not own them. These are for you to interact with the dog with. Let's see if she'll do it one more time. You know, I didn't know bringing her on. That's a lot of times how I do it. I'll run the dog over it in the previous video, then I'll grab the camera, you know. She's like just sort of doing it, you know. Here, hang on, baby. Here, over here. The dog's 4 months old. Here, spin around. Sit. No. Hold. 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 Here. Sit. You are fucking great. Yeah, you're doing good. Notice how I'm not real animated with her, because if I'm real animated with her, she'll drop it. Luna, here. Luna, here. Here. Sit. No. That's all right. Let's try it again. Here. Here. Go straight. Sit. Luna, hold. 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 Here. Here. Sit. It's very good. Sit. Here. No, Luna, here. Sit. Drop. Sit. You're good. You know that? You're good. Something else. The act itself is positive reinforcement. They end up liking doing it. And if you see the dog's tail, this dog just likes to do things the right way. So to give her like heavy praise will just cause excitement. So with dogs like this, I really have to monitor my own voice and my excitement that, like, you know, it's not going to be beneficial. Know that anything that the dog likes to do is positive reinforcement. So you could really just like when the dog's compliant, just say good, and you know, and that's it. Some dogs, it's a really like a good boy, good girl, like that, which I'll do that with her, but it is a consideration with her that I don't want her to screw up. A lot of dogs are like that. The real, like Bowser, that dog that was here a little bit ago, like, he's very excitable. That was a puppy. All the puppies you can amp them up, and that's true with just about any dog. You can just amp them up, like, you know. So that's why you should consider keeping the dog as calm as possible and not excite the dog. And don't train the dog with food. That's counterproductive. Then whenever they see food, they're excited. They become catatonic. Seriously, if you let them eat human food, and you're eating in front of them, the dog goes into like a catatonic state where if you pick the plate up, the dog tracks the plate. They can't function. They cannot function. Using food as as positive reinforcement is foolish, and to give human food, I believe, is cruel. If you give human food, you put the dog in that catatonic state, you know, where they'll track a plate, they can't function. You tell them to do something, they won't do it. And then you reinforce the catatonic state when you give them the food. And if it was a human that was in a catatonic state, you want them out of the catatonic state as soon as possible. It's healthier for the brain. Absolutely. The doctors don't say, well, you know, he or she's in a catatonic state, but we'll just leave him there. You know, it'll be all right, you know? Nah, what's the difference? No, you want them out of the catatonic state ASAP. Doesn't this make sense? Hold. 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 Here. Here. Sit. No. Hold. They're not robots. Expect them to make mistakes. That's just how it is. This is a hold. 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 Here. Hold. Here. Hold. 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 Sit. Ooh, we almost had it. You got to do it again, dude. Come here. Sit. Hold. 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 Here. 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 Hold. hold, hold, sit, hold, drop, good. Now, I didn't want to get her any closer because I want to build on success, and that was success. You want to build on success. Just, if you're teaching your dog to do this, really, take your time. You know, I'm telling you, don't rush this, and the dog's gonna drop it. Start picking it up right away. You gotta be quick about it. Put it in the dog's mouth, no licking. And try this. Get the dog to come towards you, encouraging it to come towards you. When we were doing this in the session before, a couple things. I was about this distance. Here, sit. And she was more hesitant. So she'd just do one or two, and then I'd say sit. The other thing that I do that I didn't talk about this, that don't do that. Sit. Is that her bite force is shitty, right? So to increase the dog with the sloppy mouth, I put the object in the dog's mouth, and we just did this right before this, and we'll do it more this afternoon. I put it in the dog's mouth, right? Hold, right? So it's in there. And then I move it around, but when she starts to let go, I say, no, hold. So I'll take it back like this, and I also put my finger underneath the dog's chin. Let me move the camera. So I do this with just about every dog I work with. You know, they all are sloppy mouthed unless they're something that's got a real hard mouth. So most of the dogs I work with are sloppy mouthed to a point. We start doing this. You're filthy, you need another bath. Okay, so hold. So they're holding, and I'll take my finger, put it right underneath here. No! And then I'll move these. I'll move this. I'll just grab the ball, sort of go like this and say, no, hold. Hold. Good. Hold. Hold. Sometimes I'll go like this. See the little bit of movement? No, hold. No. And if they open their mouth, say, no, hold. But this is helpful if you take it and rock it back a little bit. You know, a little bit. If you could get it to the point where they're, no, holding it, and you can actually move their head a little bit, that will help the dog learn that they can put some pressure on it. We don't want them, you know, here, drop. We don't want them biting down, but we want them to hold it firmly. That's one of the main issues with Luna, is like, she'll do 10 feet, and then she's so excited she just drops it. If she was holding on to it better, she probably wouldn't be dropping it. But doing this too, getting the dog to come towards you and indicating to the dog that it isn't just about putting it in your mouth and walking with it. It's putting it in your mouth. It's an implied state. Put it in your mouth, walking with it, sit, and then release it to my hand when you hear the word hold. That, you know, that they will start picking it up. You want the dog to learn it as an implied stay. You know, hold this thing and hold it until I give you another command. I hope this made sense. It's a great thing to teach your dog. That hold and drop and retrieving is really, it's something that you can use with your dog for the rest of its life, and they're into it. By the way, this is a longer video than I planned, but it's overcast and it's not real hot. This is the perfect kind of day to work this kind of stuff. You do not want to work the dog doing this in the hot sun. It will go really wrong. They have to breathe through their mouth. Okay? Don't do retrieves in the hot sun. Do them early in the morning or late at night. I put up solar lights, and we'll come out here at night. I'll do a video maybe tonight. But and I work at night with this, because doing hold and drop at night, it's cooler. There's no sun. You want the dog to be as comfortable as possible. You may even, I have a table upstairs. If you want to work your dog inside on a table or something, you could teach them to do that too. But I'm telling you, as soon as you bring the dog outside, they'll start dropping it again. It's like every time you have the dog do something, it makes it tougher. They just start dropping it again. But they all work past it, and they all work past it in similar time frame, and they can all learn to do it. Some of them get really into it. That's my guess with this one. Training's a lifetime of your dog. You do a board and train so that the dog trainer can get the dog functioning, and then you step in, clone yourself into the dog trainer. You want to work with the dog for its entire life. When the dog comes back from board and train, you work it more than maybe you would 3 or 4 years from now. But you want to keep working your dog. They like to do it. It's easy to go out and just walk the dog, you know. You don't have to think, you don't have to really interact with the dog you know. This kind of stuff is very beneficial, making the dog do it right. Set the object down, send the dog on its way, go get it, bring it back, spin into heel, and release it to my hand. Right, Luna? Oh, one other thing about her. Her mom, I asked her, I said, well, how's she doing on housebreaking, right? When I picked her up, you know, it's been some accidents. I put Luna on a raw diet. There's been no issues. Man, she lets me sleep in the morning. You know, when she first came in, no, I was getting up at 5. And no, I don't have to do that with her. You kidding me? She's got a real, you know, her bladder, she holds it real good. I'm telling you, your puppy should be on a raw diet. Do not give the dog bone-in chicken unless it's smashed or it's ground up. You don't give it whole bone-in chicken until it has all its teeth. And we get the dog used to getting, you know, I'll smash it up at a certain point when they're about 4.5 months old. You know, it'll be like partially smashed up, not totally smashed up, because they're getting their teeth in. But the dog has to have the correct muscles and it has to have its teeth to you know. But your raw diet is going to help get your dog housebroken. When you give your dog dry kibble, then the dog it gets thirsty and it drinks too much water. Do you understand? Then it has to pee. It also, when it drinks all that water, it hydrates that dry kibble and it expands inside the dog. And then it pushes out. You don't want that. You want something with a low fiber profile. That's why you should use raw diet. One, they don't have to like hydrate it, artificially hydrate it once it's in them. Do you understand? They're drinking a lot of water because they ate the equivalent of crackers. And then it expands and pushes everything out. And when it expands, it pushes on the dog's bladder. It doesn't go well. Put your dog on a raw diet. Even buying a prepared frozen raw diet, you know, that can work. That's better than giving a dry kibble. If you're looking for a frozen prepared raw diet, if you don't want to deal with you got a small dog like this, you could feed it Abity. Abity frozen raw is the best dog food you're going to find on the market. It's got a low fiber profile. It's not that big of a hassle. It comes in like a tube or something. You can cut it. For a dog like this, it's not a problem. Cut it up and bag it into individual meals. But a dog like this too, when she's an adult, can have bone-in chicken. Just remember, dogs need 0 carbs. 0. So you ask yourself when you look at that pet food bag, look at the pet food bag. 1, why are all the carbs in it? The carbs are in it because it makes it more cost effective for the pet food companies. That's why they're in there, not because it's good for your dog. Your dog, when you see blueberries in the dog food, you understand your dog doesn't need vitamin C, it produces its own. That's for the human to see. I'm not saying I won't give blueberries to my, a few blueberries is a little bit of fiber to dogs. I will, but don't think that you're helping out the dog by giving it a cup and a half of blueberries. When it's in a large dog, like a 70-pound dog, maybe a tablespoon of blueberries along with a chicken leg quarter. When you buy Beneful, I was just talking to somebody I know down at Dandy Mart, and I said, well, what's your puppy eating? And she said, well, we have it on Beneful. And I'm like, fuck, man, that's the worst dog food. She said, really? Absolutely. That's one of the worst. Those things in there that look like peas and carrots that are dyed with, come on, man, it has a bunch of dye in there. It's a joke. They put the fake pea carrot thing in there so that the people say, oh, it must be good for my dog. You know, it's just bullshit. They don't really need that. They definitely don't need carrots, but they don't really need apple. There is not a wolf. We are never hearing about wolves being shot leaving Yellowstone. for going into a farmer's apple orchard and stealing apples. See the point? It's a carnivore. This is a subspecies of the wolf. Luna here, she's a wolf. She's a little white wolf from Madagascar. She's a little pirate dog. That's what they were, I believe. I believe pirates wanted these dogs, right? Because you're a little killer. Give me a kiss. You're a good dog, dude. Here. No. Hold. Hold. Still working on her getting to take it. She'll take it. This is not an issue for this dog. Dog's doing great. Trot. You're doing real good. Sit. What a little tard. Seriously. What a little tard.